Ayy, look, yeah, ayy. I'm in the lab like Dexter, brand new batch he tested. I'm with all the extras, don't try and bitch, I'm pressure. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers.
Let's go ahead and move on to the Green Bay Packers, a team that 3 weeks ago I was very, very surprised about with how they were playing. But now they finally come back down to earth. This I feel like this is who they really are, you know? And so the Green Bay Packers are coming off a loss on Monday night to the Las Vegas Raiders. I believe the score to that game was 13-17. Jordan Love, 3 interceptions against that Las Vegas Raiders defense. He now leads the league in interceptions, I believe, at 6, I want to say. Not looking too good for it. Not looking too good for your franchise quarterback, Habib. So my question to you guys is, should we be out on Jordan Love as a long-term answer for the Green Bay Packers?
I think there's kind of a nuanced approach to understanding Jordan Love. I think on one hand, he shouldn't be treated like a rookie quarterback. I think that's for sure. I'll establish that. I don't think he should be treated like a rookie quarterback just because, he has been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for 3+ years. He sat behind Aaron Rodgers. He's worked with a quarterback coach, Tom Clements, who also worked with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. He's sat behind this Matt LaFleur offense, so he understands the concept of this offense. He's been in this position where he can absorb knowledge. He can understand what's going on. He's worked on his mechanics. He's worked on his footwork. He's been in the system. And on the other hand, you have a team that's the second youngest in the entire NFL. The offensive line has been banged up. The Matt LaFleur play calling has not been great at all. We've missed our most explosive player in terms of his big playability, and Aaron Jones and Christian Watson has been, kind of getting back into rhythm. We have literally first year and second year wide receivers, and then so there's a mixed bag there between, the outside, the environment that Jordan Love is currently in, and his play in of itself. I think Jordan Love's accuracy has been my biggest issue this season. The turnovers are one thing, but the inaccuracy has just been a huge, huge issue. I think for a quarterback to be in his 4th year and he still struggles with these accuracy issues, it's kind of I want to say a red flag, just because, it's your 4th year. Some of these outbreaking routes, these intermediate throws, he should have been able to hit. And, the first 2 weeks of the season, Jordan Love, in terms of his EPA per drop back, and that's just basically measuring how successful a quarterback is in terms of leading his team towards generating points, getting first downs, getting touchdowns, getting yardage. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL in that category. And I think his passer rating and other stats that he was playing well in. The one that was kind of eye-popping was his completion percentage, which was pretty low. And it was a combination of his inaccurate throws and the wide receiver drops. And what I'm understanding Jordan Love, I think it would be too early for me to dismiss him and say that this guy can absolutely not be our franchise quarterback. But on the same side, I think it would be very, very hasty for me to go back and say, yeah, this is our franchise quarterback. Because when you've seen these last 2 weeks, I think they've been quite alarming at the very least to say. Some of these throws, the decision making, the accuracy, I think has been a big problem. That throw where he threw his first interception, I think that was one of the worst throws I think I've seen. That's literally a Jay Cutler throw. That was a damn right awful throw. It's like literally a Dak Prescott turnover. It's like a Dak Prescott interception. Literally side by side, same thing as what a Dak Prescott would throw. And so I think it would be too early in the season to dismiss Jordan Love and say he cannot be a franchise quarterback. Because, if you go back to that first season Aaron Rodgers started, he had 9 interceptions and he had 9 touchdowns and 4 interceptions through his first, I believe, 5 games. But at the same time, you got to understand Aaron Rodgers was playing with a lot of great wide receivers at the time. I think Jennings was there. Donald Driver was there. I think rookie season, Jordy Nelson was there. He had a competent amount of veterans in that roster compared to what Jordan Love has right now. So I think it's a much balanced take would be more so giving him this season to prove himself as a franchise quarterback versus saying 5 games in, this guy can absolutely not be our franchise quarterback. But at the same time, if someone says, I don't think there's been signs enough there to say he's a franchise quarterback, I don't have problems with that. But it's too early in the season for me to dismiss him as such.
Yeah, I believe so as well. I think it's too early to write him off right now, especially just after a 5-game 5-game, low window. And with the injuries that he's having on the offense, Aaron Jones not playing a couple games, Christian Watson not playing a couple games, Bakhtari, done for the year with the knee injury. He hasn't really been, with the solid lineup, a full healthy offensive lineup for him to thrive and to succeed. There's certain stuff that on the way that he has to work on, the interceptions, the turnovers. I feel like his progression sometimes is pretty slow. He sees the player.
He overthinks it. That's a
He
problem.
overthinks it. Like the players, it's there, it's open, but that split second, that overthinking right there, that's where the mistake comes from. And the deep ball, I feel like he got to work on that all. Too. I feel like Christian Watson being that wide open and him not having the power to throw the ball there, and that don't work. We've seen Aaron Rodgers do that off his back foot with his left hand throwing it. Like you got to show up with that type of power. It's a game-winning touchdown right there, and for him to throw a pick in that last possession, it kills the vibe. It could have been all fixed. Those 2 turnovers could have been flushed down, and if you made that pass to Watson, it could have been a different story. But yeah, I feel like right now it's too early to say that he's not the franchise quarterback for the Packers, and obviously there's still some stuff that he needs to work on. But I feel like once the team gets fully healthy, Aaron Jones comes back on adds 100%, and he's fully incorporated back into the offense. I think they might be able to be able to do something, but give him some time. I feel like that we need to do that for him. In 5 games is too little to write off a quarterback. Way too little to write off a quarterback. So that's all I gotta say.
Why are we giving him an excuse? This is his 3rd year in the league, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but it's like,
it doesn't count like if you hold the bench for 32 games and
if you're sitting and learning behind a guy like Aaron Rodgers,
at the same time,
I mean that makes sense. A lot of rookie quarterbacks would be sitting and learning behind Aaron Rodgers.
You can pick up a book and study 24/7, but having the real on life experience on the field is much different.
That is true.
You can be sitting down for 3 years, but if you're not having that game experience to put that studying into the game and not being available every single time to practice that, it's not there. If you're sitting there 3 years, you're soaking in knowledge, you might get in your head and be like, I got too much stuff in my head right now, without the game experience. And that's for him. I feel like that's the case for him. Just too much sitting, and now he, just overthinking a lot of stuff. But you got to give it the whole season to judge.
Plus, the way his deal structured as well, it's like we give him a deal where it's basically essentially based on 1 year. So it's not like we inked in this guy as our franchise quarterback. I think this season is really the litmus test for him because they understand it's literally his 4th year in the NFL, first year starting. So they're taking it. The Packers are taking it as this is going to be his first season starting, but he's also 4th year in the league. So if he's unable to prove himself, we can easily just get out of this. It's not a big issue to us. I think that's how the franchise views it.
I mean, the thing is, I just hear a lot of excuses for a guy that was getting all the love in the world the first 3 weeks of the season when you guys started off 2-1, and now you sit here with a record, back-to-back losses, getting embarrassed on Thursday night at home against a division rival in the Detroit Lions, and then you come back on Monday night and make the Las Vegas Raiders defense look like the San Francisco 49ers defense. I think it's fair to say, that a lot of people should be out. Now, am I going to sit here and say that I'm out on Jordan Love as a solution, as a fix for the franchise of the Green Bay Packers? Absolutely not. I think that answer will be a lot more clear at the end of the season. But a lot of these excuses just don't sit right with me. Offensive line issues. That's David Bakhtiari. At this point, we have to treat him in the same light as we treated Michael Thomas whenever he got injured. Like, this guy's just at this point, he's probably never going to come back to the NFL because he's just never going to be healthy enough to be out there on the field, which is fine. He's had a long career as a Green Bay Packer, but all of these skilled position weapons, like Christian Watson coming back against the Detroit Lions, and that's fine. We gave that. We gave, obviously he was on a snap count that game. Aaron Jones coming back that game on a snap count and not playing in this past game. A little bit iffy, a little bit. That's bad management on the Green Bay Packers part. What was the whole point of playing him on the snap count and then having him on it was a long week from Thursday all the way until the following Monday, and then him being inactive. And even with them missing Aaron Jones this past week against the Raiders, AJ Dillon didn't look too bad. I believe.
Yeah, I'll give him credit for that. AJ Dillon, I think he looked solid.
He didn't look too bad. So, in hindsight, obviously this was just a very, very bad game for a guy like Jordan Love, man. And I feel like you know, the way you treat a guy like Justin Fields is you're just not treating your quarterback the same way, man. The first couple of weeks
I mean,
you're
Justin
bashing a
Fields
guy
had
like Justin
Justin
Fields
Fields been starting for 3 years, man. Like, let's come on now. Justin Fields been
on
starting
the
for 3
worst
years.
team in the league,
Come
on the
on,
one of the
man.
worst teams in the league.
But Justin Fields' issue has been turnovers and being able to read the field for 3 years now. It's been a consistent criticism against him for 3 years now. And now people,
He's looked a lot better these last couple of weeks, right?
now people are giving him credit these last 2 weeks for going up against maybe the two worst secondaries in the entire NFL. The Commanders, who have been absolutely torched these last 3 weeks, and then the Broncos. We don't even need to speak about the Broncos. So, if anything, I was just gonna say Justin Fields. Maybe he's turning it around. I'm not too sure because he's just gone up against the two worst secondaries. Jordan Love has a chance now after his bye. We come out and we play against the Broncos. So maybe that's his chance. This bye week, we reset. He goes up against the Broncos, and moving forward, I think if we lose against the Broncos and Jordan Love has a bad game, I think that's where things are starting. The tide really turns against him. I think that's where a lot of us, especially as Packer fans, that's where we start to really dig in on him. I've already had criticism against him for these accuracy issues, but now if he has a bad game against the worst defense in the NFL, then I can't. It's going to be tough for me to defend him after that point.
So let's say, hypothetically speaking, Jordan Love isn't the quarterback at the end of the season for the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, you guys end up not making the playoffs, not making a wild card spot, probably finish second in the division. What steps are the Green Bay Packers going to take? What's the plan next? Do you guys just go back into the draft and draft another quarterback and just move off from Jordan Love?
The issue being is that I don't know if we're going to be terrible enough to sit here. I don't know if we're going to be like the Panthers level of bad, or like maybe you guys when you trade Kirk Cousins level bad, or like any of these teams that are like one in something right now. Because I don't want to be the worst position you can be in is one where you don't have a clear identity. I think the idea is that we're a young roster, we want to rebuild, but if Jordan Love isn't the guy, then I don't know what our solution is at quarterback, because by then if we have 6 wins, then what was it for? Unless we decide to trade up, and I don't know if this franchise is willing to really trade up for a quarterback. So that's kind of like my issue with this thing is, we have to figure it fast if Jordan Love is that guy or not, because if he's not able to prove that, then things have to start. We have to plan for that, essentially.
You don't feel like in the slightest way it's not fair towards him, for
Jordan Love?
For you guys, yeah, towards Jordan Love, for you guys to just kind of have him have a 1 year test run.
Yeah, but it's like
if
the
it
point
doesn't
you brought
work,
up,
then it
though.
doesn't work.
It's kind of the point you brought up, though. It's like he's been in the league for 4 years now, so it's like a fair take to just say you've wanted this opportunity for this long, and now you're thrusted into it. You have to at least, it's either sink or swim, essentially, for him. And so nobody's sitting here saying, Jordan Love has to have an Aaron Rodgers type of year, but you have to show the franchise, hey, I can be that guy for you guys. If he's unable to do that, then I'm sorry, we have to kick him to the curb. It's just how football works.
It's the harsh reality of the NFL, man. Business is business. They'll draft a guy, they'll build them up, just tear him back down. So, but it is alarming. These turnovers. I do want to highlight though. For him to be leading the league in interceptions through the first 5 weeks isn't really something I kind of expected, especially with the way that he played throughout the first 3 weeks of the season. But it's a long season. There's a lot of opportunity for him to turn it around, for the Green Bay Packers to turn it around. Obviously it helps. You guys play the Denver Broncos coming out of a bye week. A lot of guys should be coming back healthy. Hopefully Aaron Jones comes back healthy, and then maybe we'll have a clearer picture on how we can assess Jordan Love's tenure so far as a Green Bay Packer.
Record a new hit, then we making us a film. Wouldn't sign a deal if I got a couple mil. Been in the lab, now they throwing out deals. Me and now Lakes, now that's overkill.